Good morning, everyone. All right, so today we are going to be doing a deep dive into, into the marketing territory. So last week, what we did was we went and took a dive into the caregiver. All right, and we took a look at what the caregiver breakdown was. We went through the area of Peoria, Illinois. And now this week, if anyone is watching live, just feel free. First, hello. If anyone who is watching live, let's leave me a comment and let me know if there's any particular area you want us to do. If not, we're just going to wing it as we go along when we get to the actual discussion here. So here we are. All right. So the First, a little bit of house cleaning. If you're watching this live on LinkedIn or if you're watching us live in our Facebook group, please, you know, give us a like, comment below, when prompted. Let us know what you're thinking. Show some support. If you're watching the replay of this on YouTube, all right, this should be time stamped and you'll be able to fast forward to the actual start of the process. But you'll also, give us a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. As of right now, we're seeing actually a very low number of people who watch. We get a lot of views and we appreciate all the support and we really, love you guys and it helps out the channel a lot. But give us a thumbs up, share this video, and also subscribe to the channel. We basically know what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, and what videos are popular or not based on feedback. And you guys are great, but if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe. And if you're not, and if you haven't participated or commented below, let us know. So, all right. So one of the things that we're going to cover today, all right, this is kind of what prompted me to do this. So those of you who have been watching and following and understand, I'm Julio Briones. I'm the lead strategist for the Briones Consulting Group. My background is in home care. I was in home care before I even knew I wanted to be in home care. All right. So a little bit of my story is I did this back when I was 15. My mother didn't want me running around on the streets, so she was a operations manager for a hybrid agency. They did Medicaid and a little bit of private pay in New Jersey, and she decided, look, you're going to get a job over the summer, come work. So I did. I learned recruiting. I've actually I got really successful at recruiting. I learned to understand what caregivers are, who they are, what they need, how to keep them and how to keep them coming back and what some of the problems are. And as my career progressed, I left home care for a while, went to the Army, did a couple of other things in my life. And eventually, eventually what ended up happening was my father got sick. When my father got sick, we had to hire a home care agency. And let me tell you, he was in a facility, he was getting home care, he was in and out, on and off hospice. And the agency we hired, it's going to remain nameless, it's irrelevant, but they were awful. Believe me, they did such a horrible job that to this day, I got to tell you, the care was so bad, I think it accelerated his death. It was just that awful. So we, as a family, we went after my father passed away. May he rest in peace. He ended up. I ended up going back into the home care business, and I've spent the last large number of years doing this. Total of 20 years of my life now. And my focus since that experience has been to kind of understand and help and see how we can better the process. Look, this is people business, okay? So I did sales for a while. I ran sales teams. I did operations. I found my way into the world of franchising and franchising support. All right. So in this process, when we were going through all of this, I was working with these franchise units. I felt that we weren't able to give all the support. Franchising is a great way to go if you got the money to do it, and if you have come in with the understanding that they are there to support you, but not to do everything for you. There's a lot of lawsuits and legalities and a whole bunch of stuff that kind of ties the franchisor's hands, and I hear complaints about it all the time. And a lot of times, it's quite frankly not the franchisor. It's not their fault, not their desire. Believe me, they want to keep you as a franchisee and they want to provide you with the best, but they can only do so much. So when I left the world of franchising, I came into this. And now this is where what I did with the franchise units, this has a lot to do with where I'm at and where I'm going. So right now, I want to know if for those of you that are watching and if you're watching the replay, leave us a comment below. Are you doing a laser targeted approach to your marketing, or are you using somewhat of a shotgun approach? What I mean is shotgun. Let's think about it. You take your shotgun, you load some birdshot in it, and you pull the trigger, and you spray and pray. You hope that what you're going to hit is the right thing. You hope that these facilities that you're going to are the facilities that will send you clients. You're hoping. You know, there's there's a to paraphrase a sentence from a line from the movie Bad Santa, and I'm going to clean it up because I do know that sometimes people watch this with children. But if you wish in one hand and you poop in the other, you're going to see which one fills up first. And the same principle applies here. Are you going out there and wishing for clients to come to you? You're wishing that this facility, you're hoping that they're going to send you clients because you went in and you just found them on Google and they kind of look nice? Or are you really targeting people that are going to facilitate the clients that you're trying to serve? So let's understand that first. Okay. Number one, understand your client. Who are you trying to reach? If you're a Medicaid agency or a government payer source agency or an agency that relies on things like, like I said, Medicaid, if you're trying to work on state waivers, DODD, people that are lower income, aid in attendance, for VA, these places, you are not going to target high end neighborhoods. You can't, okay? You just can't. Because the fact is that there are income cap requirements. So if that's where you're trying to get clients, if that's the nature of your business, you have to target it properly. The facilities that you're going to target are not necessarily the facilities you're going to target if you're looking for private pay. And even when we're looking at private pay, we have to take a look at the different scales. What are we trying to do? Are we trying to push live-in services? Are we trying to push hourly services? Do we want high volume hours? Do we want people that can afford to keep us for a long time? What is it that we're trying to target? So today we're going to work on general, a general play here on. Let me take a look here. So, all right. So the first thing we're going to do is actually, I'm just going to walk you guys through. This is what we're doing. All right. We offer a um, a service where we run through all of this with you. There's a link somewhere in the comments section to this or in the description box below. Find us on the website. All right. So that's that. Now that we've got all that stuff out of the way, let's actually break this down. So let's take a look at, normally I would have something already picked out, but I don't. So let's just pick a random city. Let's do. I'll actually do one I've been getting a lot of requests for lately. Let's do. Let's do Des Moines, Iowa. Oh, it would help if I learned how to spell, right? All right. There we go. That would help. I spelt it phonetically instead of how it actually it is. All right, let's try this again. All right, Des Moines, Iowa. All right, so if we take a look at Des Moines, Iowa, this is so far pretty meaningless to you guys. I get it. Hold on, we'll expand this out and take a look. So here's the city of Des Moines. So basically, what we're looking at is this: the darker the green, the more money there is available. The more yellow, the less income, median household income. Now, again, just like when we were looking at the caregivers, let's take a look. Let's take a look at this from the perspective of clients. How far out are we looking to go? So first, let's take a look here at the landmarks. All right. So because like anything else, and this is one of the big steps here. What is it that we're looking for? All right. What is it that we need to find? So we don't really need bus stations right now. We don't care. All right, and here we go. We don't need the train stations right now because we're not focusing in on caregivers. We're focusing in on clients. All right. We don't need the campgrounds. We don't need the wildlife. But one of the things we do heavily focus on is hospitals. All right. Whether we're looking for caregivers or we are looking for clients, we need to know where the hospitals are. Okay. So let's take a look and let's see what that brought us. All right. So we have hospitals. Okay. The hospitals are highlighted by bright red. So the other thing is now let's take a look at what the demographics are here. All right. We are looking for people that can afford. So one of the things that we need to do is we need to understand what is the median household income. All right. So why do we need to know this? Well, we need to understand what is considered affordable. So let's take a look at Iowa. All right. Median household income is 61,000. Okay. And now let's look even more specifically at Des Moines. Median household income in Des Moines is 74,000. Okay. So that tells us that the state of Iowa in general has a lower overall median household income, but the people that are making the bulk of the money in the state that are driving that median to where it is actually located in the areas out around and surrounding Des Moines. And if we take a look at the map, we actually see that. All right, we can see this clearly. So if we're looking at 50314 particularly, we're only looking at a median household income of about $30,000. Okay, now median household income, what does that mean? This means if we take the highest, we take the lowest, and it's smack in the middle. All right, it's not an average household income. Those are two different numbers. We are focused on the median. What's in the middle? Why do we need the middle? That's a great question. So we need the middle. We need that median household because we got to know if it's smack in the middle, that means that we have a equal likelihood of finding people lower than we do finding people higher. But it also means that that's pretty much on point as to what our understanding is, and it's going to dictate greatly our likelihood of finding proper clients. So next, we're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at a couple of other things here. All right, before we even get in this. So let's see where are these hospitals located. All right. So the hospitals with emergency rooms are the ones in red. That's what our focus is. Okay. We need to know where the hospitals are with emergency rooms. All right. And now this is going to play a big part in this. All right. So now let's go ahead and build out what is it that we're going to look for. What statistics do we need? Well, number one, we need to know what the median income is, and who are we looking for? If we're looking for that private pay client, and we know, all right, that the median income is about 74,000, we need to find households that have roughly 40% above the median income. Now, why that specific a number? Like, why not 28% or why not 50%? 40% is the low bar, because here's what you're looking for. You're looking for households that have people that can afford to pay for the service but cannot afford to stop working. If you're looking for a household that has $200,000 or $300,000 in household income, more than likely, not in all cases, and before anybody kills me in the comments, oh yeah, but they still have expenses. Yes, I understand that. But more than likely, if those households tend to be some sort of married couple or long-term partnered relationship. It doesn't matter if it's husband wife, husband husband, wife wife, or anything in between. It's two people that are combining resources. So one of them can typically stop working to care for a family member. That's one. The other thing is, if you get to really high above the median income, probably in that 100% to 200% range. Actually, I'm even going to go as far as say maybe not 100%, but maybe 200 to 300% the median income. What the problem you're going to run into there is that they typically will not hire an agency. Typically, they're people that have enough money that they will hire full-time staff, and they will cover the workman's comp. They will cover the insurance necessary. They will do whatever it takes to make sure that they are protected and that taxes and everything else are filed properly. So that's not really your target audience. So we're looking for, again, 50%, 40% or more. It's usually between 40 and like 90% above the median. So what's that mean? Well, if we're looking at 74,000, 75,000 median household income, we're looking at roughly the $100,000 a year mark. Okay, we are looking at here 100 to 149,000. And if we're going to go as high as double, that actually makes sense. I will bring out 75 to 99,000 in this particular incident, because that is within the range of 40%. Now, it's on the low end of the range, but it's still somebody that could potentially hire your agency for 20 hours a week rather than necessarily 168 hours a week. And this is how that's going to go. The next thing that we are going to look for, okay, is within these, we want to find households, all right, that we're going to target, okay. Specifically, our client is not going to be 65. They're going to be 75 to 84, okay. Now, here's the thing. That is the ideal number. And this is where it gets a little tricky and where it really depends on what our goals are. So we're also going to include 55 to 74. Okay, we're going to include that range because it's all going to depend on who you're trying to target. Are you doing an active campaign? Meaning, are we looking for facilities that we want to market to, or are we going to try to target using like pay-per-click ads, Google, Facebook ads, mailers, postcards? What are we trying to do? All right, because, and this is where it comes into play. If somebody is 70 years old, odds are their children are somewhere in, that 40 to 55. 40 to 60 year range. 60 is going to be a little old, but it's not unheard of to have somebody who's 50, 55 years old with 70-year-old or 75-year-old parents. All right. The reason we're going to go into the 65 to 70, I'm sorry, 60 to 64 range. I mean, we can actually potentially bring this number down here because 50 years old. But the reason we're even coming up into the 60 to 64 range is because, again, if we are looking for people that have chronic conditions that they're going to require more care. And the reason is these people, the older you get, you're not getting younger and healthier the more you age. You're not going to need less help the more you age. God bless you if you are 90 years old, fully independent, can live alone, and can still pull a tractor with your teeth. Great. I'm not knocking you. We're talking about averages, okay? So this is what we're looking at. Next, we are going to look for, and this is another important one that often people leave out. All right, just like when we were looking, all right, just like we were looking for caregivers when we did last week our analysis on caregivers, we kind of want people with older people in the home. They're used to taking care of people. It's things like this. What we want is family or household, married couple. Okay, that would be good. We also want, non-family households living alone, 65. Because again, if somebody needs help or they're going in for some sort of a surgery and they don't have family around, we want to be able to find them. Okay, and we want to find, here we are. Let's take a look here. Now, when we're talking about education for potential clients, that's not necessarily a big thing. Simply because we want households with retirement income or Social Security income. Definitely want family income higher. We're looking for some very specific things. Let's take a look here. No travel time. Homeowners. We want to target homeowners. All right. We want to target owner occupied because renters we don't really want. We want to. We don't care about household value. We're looking for households that have okay. Household 65 plus. That would be helpful to know. Household 65 plus. Again, here we go. Don't care about citizens. Don't care about race. And actually, the timing of this video is fantastic. Because I just did population and healthcare providers. I actually just got updated my demographic data yesterday, so this is great. And let's take a look here. And households with one person 65 plus. All right. Now we're going to apply all of this. A lot of stuff coming up. All right, and we're going to take a look. Okay. So let's now break this all down. We want people and we want to break down what is the there we go. So let's take a look at what neighborhoods we're trying to find. So we want places, okay, let's do this here. Let's make this bigger. Trying to see, sometimes this doesn't let me. No, all right, it doesn't let me make it bigger on this particular example, but let's take a look. All right, based on the city of Des Moines, okay, because remember, we have to be able to get caregivers to go out there. So if you're not sure, I will link the caregiver video if you're watching this on YouTube, somewhere else, somewhere in the top below. But if you're watching us live on LinkedIn or Facebook, just go to our YouTube channel. It's called Morning Meeting. It's I'll include a link somewhere in the comment section. But when we're looking at this is all of our criteria. All right. We are going to, let's take a look here. There. All right, take my face off of there. Actually, you know what? Let's go ahead and do this. Yeah, so if you want to know that is the link for our YouTube channel. But all right, so let's take a look now. What are we looking at? So we want to find, again, higher income. So we're looking for the darker shades of green. That seems to be up in this area. All right, and now we have a hospital emergency room here, which we're just going to use this for the example. And let's just do a radius, okay? All right, so leave a comment below, and let us know, is this type of information or these types of videos beneficial to you? Do you guys enjoy this? Let us know, and once again, if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget, give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But in general, do you guys like this type of content? Whether regardless of where you're watching us, let us know if this is beneficial and if you want to see us keep doing more geographic analysis for different purposes. And next week we may not be able to do a live because we are relocating. I've mentioned this a couple of times. You've been following us for a while, so we are going to be in. We're going to actually be in Indiana the next time you see us. So right now we know this is somewhat of a suburb area outside of Des Moines, and we have a hospital emergency room here. So let's take a look at what the data is going to tell us. So we're going to do a 6-mile radius, okay? Because that is average for how far people will live. And if you see, we do have quite a wide swath of areas to cover. We can actually expand this out. Let's expand this out and let's do 10 miles just to see. Because most people, we could find caregivers that'll go out there. All right, so now we're looking at the 10-mile radius from whatever hospital this is. All right. It is called Mercy Medical Center, West Lakes. All right. So within 10 miles of here, what do we got? What is this a good area? Just from the general point, I will tell you, This is a great. This looks like a great location for me because it's within the range of where caregivers will travel. It is within, you know, if we're looking at this, we've got the right income levels, and now let's take a look per city. These are the cities that we would be targeting, and straight line from the center, straight line from the hospital. This is how far everything is. All right. And now let's go and take a look at all of this. That's the median household income, just so that you know per zip code, where is it that we're actually looking. And now let's look at the breakdown. Okay. So if we're going to take a look at, let's say for argument's sake, 50328. All right. So 50328 is that's right here, by the way. All right. Right here. And now let's see, that looks promising. What is it that we're looking at? So 5032. Did I read that right? I might have read that wrong. Oh, I think I read that wrong. 323. My apologies. That's what it was. Looks like an 8. All right. So yeah, I got to go get my eyes checked too. All right. So if we're looking at household income, so what's the population there? So comparatively, we have in our house range, we are looking at 544 homes in the 75 to 999 range. But we also, more importantly, have in our real target, we're looking at 1,547. All right, so that means almost 2,000 homes in this area meet our criteria, which also matches some of our population. All right, so if we're looking at their children, if we're going to do a targeted campaign to bring attention to their children, so that their children are aware of what services we can do, and we're going to create our messaging for those kids. Let me take this away from here so everybody could see. All right, if we're going to take our attention and really show the children, we'll create our messaging, create our structure for that, so that the children can know, hey, if mom needs help, these are the warning signs, these are things I need to look for. Let's do an article on how you help. Let's do a messaging or a campaign on how you help Alzheimer's patients, how you help with fall risk. Do a couple of quick videos, something, whatever it is that you're going to target, in these neighborhoods. This is what we're going to do. This is going to be our focus. Okay. So we have a good population of kids. Here's the other thing. If we are targeting these areas, they're in their 50s. Long-term strategy, marketing strategy tells me that as they grow older, they get more familiar with you, what you do, how you help. Not only will they use you for their parents, but should they go and get elective surgery, should one of them get into an accident and need recovery assistance, look, don't pigeonhole yourself into just senior care. Understand that you also help the injured, the infirm. You help adults with developmental disability. You can help in a number of different aspects. And what it's going to come down to is understanding the demographic. Remember, 45 to 50, I'm going to say 45 to like 55 years old is going to be what's known as that sandwich generation. That means they still have kids that might need help. They have adults that might need help, and they might need help. So this is a good demographic to target with social media. Now, when we're getting into the older demographic, which these neighborhoods actually have a decent amount, okay? When we're looking at them, we're also now we're not really going to focus so much on that Facebook, Google advertising, because older people generally, at least for now, do not tend to have a big emphasis on technology as younger people do. Okay, I have many clients and friends and family. They are in these age groups. They do not necessarily go online as often as like I do, and just like I don't necessarily go online as much as my kids do. Okay, so we have to keep that in mind. So now some of the other things that we want to take a look at: married couple. Okay, married couples by family. Why? When there's a bigger support group, there's more likelihood of finding help. Um, we also want to know about, how many of these households have females in them. Why? Because women, as in a general sense, tend to look for help more often than men. It's just, it's statistical fact. I don't want to offend anybody, and this isn't a commentary on any of this. It's just statistic. So we also have here, and this is actually fantastic, 65 plus living alone. There are 261 potential clients in this area. Think about this. If you're 65 and older, you're living alone, your family's not probably not near you, or if they are, they follow the statistical um, relevance of somewhere between 10 and 20 miles, depending on how urban or rural the area is, that you have family living by you. That means that most people live within an hour to 2 hours away from their family members. That's a long time. And if somebody needs help, this is important to understand. Okay, this number. Next, we're going to look at households with people 65 and plus in them. Okay, now we're talking about family units. Okay, family units that have the older person living with them. So if the couple needs to work, or if the 65 and older person is living there because of some debilitating injury or illness, broken hip, broken femur, stroke, you know, um, Alzheimer's or dementia, any one of these major concerns that they need more attention than anyone else. If they're on hospice, these are households that you really want to be able to target. And if you can see, some of these really get high up there into, we're talking about 920, 2000 in some of these areas. These are high volumes of people living. So they would be potentially good targets for either caregivers for recruitment or for client acquisition. All right. And then this is what we're looking for. All right. And we can go down the list here and really break down what is our ideal and target client. All right. So let us know. What did we forget here? Do you guys look for other things? Have you ever even seen one of these analyses before? Leave us a comment down below, whether you're watching us live or watching a replay, and let us know what your thoughts are. All right. Now let's move on with this. Let's take a look. So once we've gotten these target areas and we've figured out where we are, keep in mind the other general statistics, okay? Keep in mind the demographics. What is the likelihood? So if we know that this is the hospital that we're focusing in on, all right, right here, this is ground zero. And again, we could do the same analysis for every one of these hospitals because you need to know this information to build your zones. So what are we going to do? We know that within a an eighth of a mile up to as far as 2 miles are typically your feeder unit, or your fed units, meaning your skilled nursing. What do I talk about when I say SNFs, skilled nursing facilities? I'm not talking about those long-term stays. We're talking about short-term inpatient rehabilitation centers, okay? So a place that offers housing, they're almost hospital style, some are like a cottage or a home, but they offer skilled nursing care for people that are in recovery. They offer PT and OT in-house, speech therapy in-house. They're the places that people go after surgery to recover. All right, typically they do not stay in there more than what Medicare will pay, which is about 90 to 100 days. But on average, it's only about 20 to 25 days that they'll stay in there. So you want to get in there. You want to have these good relationships. But if you're going to places that are not targeting your clients, you're wasting your time. Hospitals. What zip codes are your primary discharge? You can find almost all of this information on cms.gov. All right, or we have other tools that we use specifically when we do these analyses with you. All right. So feel free to contact us, get a hold of us. We're at thebrionesgroup.com. If you want one of these analyses for yourself, there's a direct link to schedule one. If you want to go ahead and do it, that's all in the comments or in the description box below. All right. And if you're listening to the replay on our podcast, it's still going to be in the show notes somewhere. All right. So this is what we want to look at. So we want to this is ground zero. What's around there? What support units are around there? What hospice, home health? Is there a VNA, Visiting Nurse Association? Is there other home health agencies? Are there independent living facilities? Yes, there will be around here because again, most people live within a certain radius from a hospital. All right, and that includes assisted independent living facilities. How many assisted living facilities are there in the area? Let's look at your secondary and tertiary supports. Where are your fiduciaries? Where are your financial planners? Where are your where are your accountants? Not tax preparers, but actual accountants. Where are your estate planners? Your geriatric care managers, your nurse care case managers. Where are all of these support units that do this? If you are a private pay only agency, where are your Medicaid only agencies around there? Build these relationships. People will call you mistakenly with looking for Medicaid services. Be sure to refer out. Let's take a look at how we can find referral partners, how we can build these. Look, I'm going to tell you, when I used to market and when I used to run sales teams, one of my favorite places to build relationships with were funeral homes. Where are the funeral homes in these areas? Think about this. If you have a married couple that has been together for 30, 40, 50 years, 60 years, and one of the spouses die, the other one needs companionship. Depression is real, okay? So these issues really become they also, if the husband dies first, depression, the companionship. If the wife dies first, many of our older generation, not everyone, again, I'm being very general here, but much of our older generation, the husband relied, while there was sharing of housework, they relied on their wife. The wife took care of the husband. So if the wife dies, who's going to take care of dad? All of these things you have to keep in mind. And even if we're talking in the LGBTQ community, I don't know how big the community is in Des Moines. I've only driven through there, but I've never actually gone into Des Moines. But I don't know how big the community is there. But let's think about this. You have just even before marriage was permitted in the LGBTQ community, you still have people that are together for 30, 40, 50 years. It doesn't change. Whether you're straight or LGBTQ plus, it doesn't really matter. Love is love, relationships are relationships, and if you partner up with somebody for an extended period of time and your partner dies or gets injured, you might need help. And this is all it is. And understanding culture, understanding the dynamics of this, and most importantly, understanding where to find your clients. How does everything in your territory actually match up? Put this all together, create your situation here with your call. I'm sorry, with your prospecting. Develop a plan, build zones, find a hospital, find a facility within there. Start targeting it out. Pick your primary target. Once you have your primary target, create a visiting schedule for your secondaries. Make it shiftable. Make it something that if you need to, pluck and chuck. We cover a lot of this in our marketing trainings, and we cover a lot of this in our operations and recruitment trainings, because you have to understand what is the symbiosis between all of the different facilities, all of the different providers, all the support services in your area, and how all of this can help you. Generating these maps, generating these reports are a great place to start. And again, please check us out at thebrionesgroup.com. and you can sign up. We have basic packages, which are just these maps and a video explaining what we did in your area. And we have more deluxe packages, which involve multiple sessions where we help you plot out and strategize your marketing and recruitment. All right, so this has been it. If anyone's actually watching us live, it's a kind of unscheduled. This is not our normal time, so I don't expect a lot of questions. So we're just going to wrap it up here. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching the replay, again, this will be timestamped. Have a great day, and we'll see you all in about 2 weeks if we don't get to do another video. Thanks.